Hello everyone, Pesach is coming up next week, Friday night, so I figured we would share some ideas about the Haggadah. Everything I'm saying is based on our Bernstein's Haggadah, and hopefully we'll enjoy it. We'll add on to the ideas we shared last year. So right now we're at the highlight of, or one of the highlights of Seder night, and that is the Manishtana, right? The 4 questions of the child. So Manishtana halayla hazeh mikol haleilot. And the very first thing we say is Shebechol haleilot anu ochlin chametz u'matzah halayla hazeh kol matzah. Right? For on all nights we eat chametz and matzah, but on this night only matzah. And to that, Rav Bernstein asks, what does that mean? On all nights we eat chametz and matzah. Who eats chametz and matzah at the same night? At the same meal, usually either have one or the other. So what? So maybe the question means, look, on all nights we'll have either chametz or matzah, and that makes a bit more sense. But it can't mean that. And the reason why we say that is because if we look at the fourth of these questions, the last one, it says, "Shebechol halilot anu ochlin ben yoshvin uven mesobin halal hazeh kulan mesobin." For on all nights we eat either sitting upright or reclining, and on this night we all recline. So therefore, when we say we eat chametz and matzah, it must mean literally we eat chametz and matzah together. When does that ever happen? So the Binyan Ariel answers this question, and he says, look, these questions have their origins back in temple times. And in fact, you could see this if we look at the original Mishnah in Pesachim about the Seder night, we'll see that there are actually 5 questions. And that 5th question that we don't ask anymore relates to the Korban Pesach, which obviously we don't do now that we don't have a temple, and therefore it's been extracted. But the point is, these questions do have their origin in temple times. Now, given that that's the case, was there ever a time when you'd eat chametz and matzah together? The answer is yes. And the reason we say this is because there are specific occasions when a person who had experienced something for which he felt especially grateful, right, such as being saved from a potentially dangerous situation, he would bring a Todah offering. Right? There are many different types of korban you could bring, and one of them was a korban Todah. The Todah was offered during the day, and the meat was consumed at a festive gathering that night in the evening, where he would recount for his family and friends who would invite about what happened to him at length. Now, a child sitting at back in temple times would have been familiar with this custom. That is to say, that you shecht a korban during the day and you eat it at night, and then you regale all your friends with the stories of why you're bringing this korban and the things that you are grateful for. Now, a child back then would have seen this and would have noticed that something was strange about Seder night. That is to say, the korban Pesach was slaughtered during the day, just like the Todah offering. We are now consuming it at night, right, during the Seder. And yet, there's a feature that is missing. With the Todah offering, we'd bring 40 loaves of bread. 30 were matzah. 10 of them were chametz. And so he would see that the chametz and matzah were being consumed at the same meal. Here, that's not the case. The child sees the matzah, but he doesn't see the chametz. And everything else appears to him to be the same. And therefore, it provokes this question, hang on, what's going on? On every other night like this, where we're having a korban Todah, we eat chametz and matzah. Where's the chametz? And that's why we ask him. That's in order to prompt his questions. That's amazing. Anyway, so that's one idea I wanted to share, just a bit of insight about that question. And then I want to go to the question of the Rasha, and particularly the response. So the Rasha says, Rasha mahu omer, ma havodah azot lachem v'lo lo, right? For you and not for him. Ulefi shotzit asmo min haklal kafar ba'ikar. And this is what you should respond to him. And this is what you should tell him. There's lots of commentary on the Rasha, the Ben Rasha. We're not going to go there for now. So this is what you respond. Because of this, Hashem did for me when I left Egypt, implying for me, but not for him. If he had been there, then he would not have been redeemed. Okay, so what's going on here? What is the basis of his question? Now, Rabbi Chaim Friedlander explains that the question of the wicked son is actually based on an understanding of the Exodus that he finds incongruous with the mitzvahs on Seder night. That is to say, in the wicked son's eyes, the goal of the Exodus was freedom as an end in itself. We've spoken about this a number of times, particularly when it came to Hanukkah. But therefore, when the son sees this, he's like, look, I'm supposed to be free. And so he asks, What is this service to you? Why are you devoting the evening of our freedom to divine service? And therefore, our answer to that must be to express the real meaning and purpose of the Exodus. That is to say, it is for the sake of this Hashem did for me when I left Egypt. On this pasuk in the Chumash, Rashi says, it is in order that I will keep his mitzvahs. That tells us what the ultimate purpose of freedom is. It's divine service. It's avodah. It's not freedom for its own sake. And in fact, this is actually seen in our response to him. Because what do we say to him? This is what Hashem did for me as I left Egypt. Leave the law. Why? If he had been there, he would not have been redeemed. Now, the proper word we would have thought would be to say, he wouldn't have gone out. But truth is, that's not entirely correct, because it's possible that over the course of history, the Egyptians would have been defeated, the slaves would have either revolted or gotten out free, or whatever else would have happened, and ultimately the Ben Russia would have gone free. He would have gotten out. But the answer is, he would not have been redeemed. That's the key here. The full meaning of this Geula is brought out by the Maaseh Nisim. He explains that the term Geula has an additional connotation of that, to that of simply becoming free. In Rav Bernstein's words, when the Torah describes one who acquires a field that has been mortgaged, it refers to that process as Geula. This teaches us that the full meaning of redemption is that the entity is released from its bonded state and acquired by the Redeemer. Therefore, the concept of Hashem redeeming us from Egypt is that of freeing us from there in order that we are acquired by him to become his people. The Exodus was not simply meant so that we could be hefker and just have this free state with nothing to do. It was meant for us to be acquired and to be involved in avodah. And that's why we say that this night is dedicated to avodah. We'll leave it there for this week. Shabbat shalom, and see you then.